Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cyber Revolution podcast. I'm Adam Hewitt, CEO of Cyber Revolution. Today, super excited. We're joined by an alumni student of ours, Caleb. How you going, Caleb?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Very well. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to jump on and have a chat.
No worries. No problem at all.
Mate, let's just get straight into it. Usually I do a little bit of intro about who the podcast is for and a little bit about yourself, but I think by now people have probably heard the spiel of who Cyber Revolution are and why we've got this podcast. So let's just get straight into the chat, mate. Excited to have you on. It's been probably a few weeks or probably more. It's been about 6 weeks a process to get you on the show because you're a busy man. You've just
yes, you've just started a new job.
Started your new role, which changes things. It changes your schedule. It changes. Obviously the intense training that you're doing as well, which we're going to have a chat about. And so, let's dive deep into it. And so, for everyone listening, Caleb is a former Cyber Revolution student, studied with us, and is now placed at one of our placement partners, Triskel Labs. Shout out to them; they're amazing. And why don't we just start from the very beginning, mate? I think from memory, someone told me that you were in the window fabrication space, and obviously now you've just landed a role as a SOC analyst.
Yes.
You take us back to that stage when you're working, as a window fabricator. What sparked the idea of changing careers into cybersecurity?
It was mainly the fact that I was sick of my job where I was at. There was no real career progression for me that I could see anyway. I didn't really go, I want to work in cybersecurity straight away. I just was looking at what sort of jobs were out there, mainly in the IT space. And then I saw quite a few things saying that, there was quite a few jobs coming up in the cybersecurity space that needed to be filled. And I had a look into it and it got me really intrigued just about the whole idea of cybersecurity and the idea of, stopping cybercrime, helping people out in that sort of way. That's sort of what got me intrigued by it, just the massive scope of cybersecurity in itself and how much there is to learn from it and how you're always learning because there's always something new coming out.
Yep. So I'm assuming, like a lot of the students that I talk to, right, you're in your current role, you start to put the feelers out there, do some Google searches, speak to some people about potential opportunities, right? And then you dive into your research about a bunch of different industries. So for you, it wasn't a specific event. A lot of the time students, they might get hacked or a family member might get hacked and they go, you know what, I'm going to look into this industry. But for you, it was more a bit of a slower burn, right?
Yeah. There was nothing really specific that I would say that made me choose cybersecurity. It was just that seemed to be what I was most interested in out of what I would choose for a job. That after researching around to see what sort of jobs there were, that was the thing that I think would suit me best. So that's what I went towards.
Yeah, cool. It takes us back to your former career. How long were you doing that for? And what was your
Well, I was in the industry for 7 years.
Yep.
Just straight out of school, got a job doing Windows, and that's pretty much just stuck with it because that was the only experience I had. It was a good thing while it lasted, especially getting like a team leader role really helped my leadership skills and stuff like that, as well as interpersonal skills, working with a team. It was just a job that I had because I had the experience in it and I just kept going with that. And then I just decided one day I just had enough of it and didn't want to do it anymore.
It's funny like that. A lot of people, that we speak to, they just fall into a role because that's the first opportunity they got out of school. And then all of a sudden you realize 7 years have gone by and you're like, wow, probably don't want to do this for the next 7 or the next, 27 years, right? And you've got to make a change. It's a big decision, right? And so for you, one of the biggest motivating factors as to why you changed was you were stunted with some of the career growth that you're having, you're saying?
Yeah, I guess there wasn't no career progression, but there was nothing that I wanted to progress to, I guess you could say. And nothing really interested me to go further in this sort of industry.
Yeah. Kind of lost motivation for it. Just something you didn't want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Now, onto the role that you've just landed. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about the moment you found out you'd landed that role and, what that experience.
It's been really good. It's a very big change from what sort of role I was in, obviously, especially doing, it's a shift work. So I've got morning, afternoon and night shift on a rotating roster. So that's a very big difference as well. But no, getting into it about a month ago was a bit daunting to begin with, especially with the training. But the training there has been really good. It's really informative, really educational. The people there were really good, really helpful, always willing to help. And that's sort of what's helped me the most is the people there. Like any questions you've got, they're always happy to help you. No questions asked. And I think that's the biggest factor that's helped me is that everyone there is just so nice and helpful. Because if without that, I feel like it would be a lot harder to understand the role that you're getting into just by looking at it on paper and learning yourself. It's a very big thing to have that support around you.
Yeah, definitely. It's super important, right? It's overwhelming enough having to change careers, then going into such a fast-paced, booming industry like cybersecurity and a complete kind of skill set switch as well. Like it can be a little bit daunting. And so your actual job title, you're in the SOC,
Yeah, level 1 SOC analyst.
level one SOC analyst. For those listening in, SOC stands for Security Operations Center. And so maybe can you give a little bit more context as to you've only been in the role for a month now. And so walk us through at a really high level what that first month has been like, all the way from training through to actually maybe, starting to look at some alerts and then obviously the shift work that you're doing now.
So the first sort of 2 weeks were just basically training. They've got a Excel spreadsheet set out for you what you're meant to look at for the next 2 weeks. So just going through all these videos that they've set up for you, or other people have set up, and they just offer you them to look at.
Yep.
That was pretty much the first week, as well as policy signing and stuff like that. And then after the first week or first 2 weeks, you get into a bit of shadowing, watching what other analysts are doing, trying to learn like their thought process behind what the alert is, what I need to look for this alert, how am I going to triage this accordingly, and what are sort of, what are signs or indicators of compromise from this sort of alert that I need to look for just in case that there is something malicious about this. And then from shadowing, pretty much starting the shift work and then getting into your own sort of alerts, slowly deep diving into each one so you can get a bit more of an understanding about, what you're looking at, what the alert type is, all the different factors that you need to consider when you're looking at this type of alert, depending on what it is. There's hundreds of different ones that we've got. Yeah, then sort of after sort of deep diving into them, giving your thorough analysis of what you think has happened. Is it a true positive? Is it a false positive? Is it benign? Is it malicious? If it's malicious, making a ticket with the client, letting them know, informing them, and just following up with them to make sure that everything's okay with it. Nothing bad has happened. Yes, pretty much day-to-day operations, I guess.
It's a lot, right? In your first month. I know it's overwhelming and it's busy, right? And different hours, which we'll talk about soon as well. But can you see, are you enjoying it? You excited by the change?
Oh yeah, it's a huge change for me, but I'm loving it so far. It's always good because you're always busy. There's never really much. It was a bit, I guess you could say, I had a bit more downtime when I started, but now it's like I'm always busy, always doing something, which for me is perfect. I have to I have to be stimulated, mind focused on something, and it's good as well because it sort of makes the shifts go faster because you're always busy. So it's not like you're lagging behind or anything like that. So no, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. And it's a sort of like the shift work part, I think it's a bit more flexibility in your work. So you're not always doing the same thing every week. You've got a bit of, I guess, variation in your work. So it's good to do that.
I'm pumped for you that you're enjoying it. I can tell that you're excited about it. And it is like, drinking out of a fire hose at the start. You'll always be busy, but if you're the type of person that constantly likes continuous learning and learning new things, then that's usually a great sign that the industry's for you, right? And so with the shift work side of things, for everyone listening, a SOC is a 24/7 operation usually, so cyber never sleeps. And so it gives you the option, if you do go down the technical side, the security operations center side of things, to choose if you want to do shift work rather than just your normal 9 to 5. Obviously, there are SOC analysts that work a normal 9 to 5, but other people that are, in the opportunity to be able to do different shift, hours and work like that, it affords them that flexibility. So does your shift, do you have set shifts, or does it kind of all specifically change?
Well, I started on morning shift, which is 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then after that, it goes to night shift, which is 10:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And then afternoon shift after that, which is 2 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
And so a night shift is all at home. So that's quite handy.
Yeah.
And all weekends and public holidays and stuff are at home as well.
Okay. Makes it a lot easier. So it's a mix. It's like a hybrid role.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not so bad as well because you work 5 days and you get 3 days off, so you get that extra day off each week as well.
Yeah, nice, great. And every SOC structures them differently. Do you find that there's a specific shift where you're getting more attacks or more alerts?
But I'm doing afternoon shift now. I've done morning and night. So far, I've noticed that the afternoon shift is the busiest, mainly because when you're walking in to work, you've got the most amount of alerts. In the middle of the day, you're going to have all your clients at work and alerts are going to be firing off here, there, and everywhere. So I think, yeah, definitely the afternoon shift has been the busiest so far. And then the night shift has always been the quietest, obviously, because, no one's at work. It's very minimal alerts, or hopefully minimal alerts. Sometimes there can be a few that come through, but no, the night shifts are quite chill. A lot of phishing, triaging, analyzing phishing emails and stuff like that people don't have time to do during the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Variation, sounds like. You got a good of work that you're doing, right? And so did you ever think, like, say, 12 months ago, you're a window fabricator, even probably before that, when you started, you didn't even know what career you wanted to go into. Did you think that you'd, 12 to 18 months later, you'd be a SOC analyst?
No, honestly, I didn't think this is the sort of role I'd be landing straight away. Like, I was willing to just get like an IT help desk job or something like that, or a support officer job. But it seems like I've actually like landed, I think, probably the perfect role for a beginner getting into this industry.
Yeah, great company, fast.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Especially the company like Triskel, because they offer advisory and offensive and defensive. It's like the whole company is literally just based around cybersecurity. So I don't think there's any better place that I could have landed a job, to be honest.
Yep. And did you know throughout your studies what pathway you'd go down, whether you wanted to go down the technical or the consulting?
I'm not too big on the consulting side, but I think where I want to go with my career is sort of stay on the defensive side for a little bit, learn the back end, learn how people triage alerts and stuff like that, and how the defensive side is structured, and then sort of move into a bit of red team side and start doing some pen testing and stuff like that. That's sort of what I would like to do.
Yeah. Nice, mate. Well, you've got plenty of options. I obviously for now, for the next 6 to 12 months, head down, learn the basics of what you're doing. And that's probably the coolest thing. I think more so around the technical side of cybersecurity, you probably do have more avenues to explore down, as opposed to the consulting side is a little bit more linear, and you go down certain path, the specific pathway in the GRC space. So it's exciting. Who knows? Who knows where you'll be in sort of 12 or 18 months' time, mate? And so if a bit of a change of pace around the studies with us, what stood out for you? Like, why did you decide to join Cyber Revolution instead of all of the other training options out there?
Well, one of the big factors for me was that it was a go at your own pace sort of thing. It's not like you're going to uni where you've got to go into class, you got to do it part-time or something like that. Because I was working full-time, it was just not plausible for me to be able to go and do a uni course or anything like that. So yeah, being all online was really helpful for me.
Did you think that you could get into an industry like cybersecurity without having to go to university?
Honestly, I did it to begin with. But the more I looked at it and the more I looked at your reviews and stuff like that with people actually getting the jobs, I was like, okay, there is an opportunity here to do that without, doing a 2, 3, 4 year degree in cybersecurity and then basically having the same, I guess you could say, chance of getting a job as anyone else that has done something similar to what I have.
Yep.
And gotten the CompTIA certificates, and that just shows like it's the thing with the CompTIA things is it shows your knowledge on paper and your theory behind things, but it's a bit different to be having the hands-on experience, I guess you could say.
Yep.
You have all the knowledge and stuff like that in the theoretical side of it, but then putting your hands on is a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
use the analogy. The CompTIA certificates is what our students get, right? It takes them roughly sort of 6 to 8 months to get their industry certifications through CompTIA. Those certifications are like a ticket to the interview. It shows employers that you've got the basic skills, theoretical skills, and we've got some live practice labs. But what it also shows employers is that you're taking it seriously. You've invested time, money, a lot of effort in getting these certificates. You're taking it seriously, which means you take the industry and your career seriously. Suppose if you're someone that's just interested in cybersecurity that's done a free online course, then they're like, maybe this person's not taking it all that seriously, right? And so, I think that is a bit of a misconception in the space that you need to have a 2, 3, 4 year university degree to get into it. I truly believe that the key to bridging the skills gap that everyone talks about is career changes, right? You talked about it, the first half of this podcast has been about how intense it is, but I'm sure that what you've done is you've drawn on your previous professional, skills that you've built, right? You're a mature professional. You've been in an industry for 7 years before. And so you're not as overwhelmed getting into a new workplace, being onboarded, doing training, and then getting your hands dirty, as opposed to someone who's really green and it's their first job ever. Right?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah. So there's the transferable skills for everyone listening out there who's thinking about wanting to get into cyber. Typically what they'll worry about is, I don't have cybersecurity certs yet. I don't have cybersecurity skills. But if you've got a passion for the industry, what you should also do is focus on what you do have. Like, what have you done in your careers over the past 10, 15, 20 years? Because a lot of those skills are applicable to cybersecurity. You mentioned you're a team lead, right? How important is leadership and communication in a SOC?
Hugely. Yeah. If you can't talk to the people around you, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And then with your studies, so that was the self-paced is great. What around the features of the study did you enjoy? Because everyone kind of learns differently. You've got the labs, you've got the lectures, you've got the support, you've got the mentors. Like, well, what did you like?
The thing that I really liked is when you change your platforms from what was it before, Skillsoft? When you change that to ACI Learning, I really, really like that. I love the sort of podcast in a educational video sort of thing. There's a conversation flowing about the content, and it made it really easy to ingest that. So I really liked when that happened.
Yep.
The mentors are great. Zara was really helpful. Always, not on my back, but trying to push me to be able to get through everything, making sure all my my practice exams and stuff were good, and I was ready to do the exams, as well as Hugo. Hugo was really helpful, especially after the fact, helping me with my resume and cover letter and stuff like that.
Yep.
No, it was really good. The support was really, really good.
Yeah, amazing, mate. And were you nervous around having to do the studies? Because obviously coming from no IT background, window fabrication into cyber and committing to the skills, were you nervous about that?
I wasn't so nervous about learning it. Doing the learning was good. But the thing that I got nervous the most about was doing the exams. Because, you got one shot at them. If you fail it, you've got to pay for it again. That's the sort of thing that I was nervous about. Not so much the learning. It was actually, I was probably more eager for the learning. Like, even though I was working full time, I'd get home from work and I'd be like, all right, what's next to learn? That's sort of where I was at. Not nervous at all, just wanting to learn more.
Cool. Well, that's good. I mean, it's probably a mixture of excitement and nerves, right? Because it is nervous.
Yeah.
When's the last time you set an exam? No, I haven't set an exam for over 10 years. A lot of people haven't sat exams for a long, long time. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking building up. You put all the hard work in, but you've obviously successfully gone through the process and done it. Did it get easier for students that are listening in right now, and they might be ready to sit their first exam, which is the most nerve-wracking one that you can do?
Yes.
Did you find that process got easier after you got over that first hurdle of the A+?
Not particularly, if I'm honest.
Interesting, because usually students say that, so that's why I asked.
Not for me, I guess. I don't know. I sort of went into every exam feeling nervous, but that's just sort of how I am, I guess.
Yep.
Like, I was confident in my knowledge and I was confident in myself that I was going to pass, but there was always those nerves there that, were just, creeping in, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, you did it, mate. You've got the certs and you're in the industry now. And so Well done. So yeah, not that the learning stops now, and I'm sure you'll sit many more certifications and exams to come throughout
Yeah.
your studies, because that's all part of it now, right? The good thing is you're going to get paid to get those certifications, and
Yeah. That's always a plus.
rather than paying to do them, you'll get paid to do. Yeah, you get paid to do them, and obviously that then increases, your opportunities, career progression, and your salary, etc. Mate. So, well done. You're a month in now. You're taking all of it in, and it's going to be an exciting ride for you for the next sort of 6 to 12 months. You're learning lots. You're at a great company. You've got a huge career in front of you, mate. So I'm happy that you've landed the role that you've wanted to in the technical space, and I look forward to hearing how you go over the next 12 to 18 months in your new career.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Caleb. I really do. And so for everyone listening in, if you want to listen to more episodes of this, please like, subscribe, leave comments. We're getting lots of comments on our podcast and our YouTube channel at the moment with questions and topics that they want covered in the podcast. They're always great. If you want to know more about the job placement program that we do and that Caleb went through, all you got to do is head to cyberrevolution.com.au, leave your details there, and someone will be in touch. Thanks for listening, everyone.